Hey guys, it's Chey. Welcome to the channel if you are new, and if you're not, hey boo. So for today's video, I was inspired by Miss Sandi Jarquin. She did this beautiful pink and purple look, and this is my interpretation of the look that she did. I am literally so obsessed with how it came out. I did use a lot of new products. If you guys have not seen my Ulta haul, I will have it linked in the cards above, but I tried to use as many products from that haul. I also finally got my Jordana Ticia order in, so I did play with those products from Jordana Ticia today. Now in Sandi's video, she did use the Patrick Ta Major Dimension 2 and also the P.LOUISE Wonder Full of Wonder palette, which is basically a purple palette. Now I do own both of those palettes, but I kind of wanted to just stick with one palette, and I thought this palette was the perfect palette to execute her look. And I did use the Playing in Makeup by YOLONDO palette. This is the Majestic palette, so you get those beautiful pinks and purples. So I did use this palette. At the end of the video, I just wanted to brighten the purple a little bit, so I did go into the P.LOUISE purple palette and take Majestic and just hit the brow bone and inner corner just a teeny tiny bit. I also got my hands on the new Fenty Valentine's Day drop, and that is also on my face today. So if you guys want to see me create this beautiful look that you see, if you like it here, if you like my vibe, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And without any further ado, let's get into this Sandi Jarquin inspired look. Before we get into this video, we need to talk about the hair. Y'all, I finally got my hair done. I have been waiting to get my hair done since January. Unfortunately, due to allergies, I developed pink eye, so I had to push back my hair appointment date, and I finally got it done. And I am obsessed. Okay, now I go to Key Slayed Me, and she always does me good. I've been going to her for like 5 or 6 years now, and she never misses. Okay, she is in the San Antonio area, so if you guys live around there, definitely go see my girl, because y'all, the hair, this sew-in is so cute, and I'm obsessed. Okay, this look is so girly, so flirty, and honestly I am obsessed. I love the way that it came out. Without any further ado, let's get into this Sandi Jarquin inspired look. Hey boo, so let's talk about these brows and how I did them. I used the P.LOUISE brow palette, and this has a pomade and powder, and then I went in with the NYX Lift and Snatch brow pen to add those hair-like strokes. So I'm going to be taking this P.LOUISE paint, which is more of a thicker formula, and this is in the shade Lullaby Lilac, and I'm going to use that to highlight my brow bone just so that the purple has something to stick to. And then we're going to go ahead and blend out those edges just so it's not harsh. Then once that's blended, we're priming the eyes using the P.LOUISE base in RUMOUR number 4. And then once that's nice and blended, we're going to go into the eyeshadow. For eyeshadow, we are using the Playing in Makeup by YOLONDO palette. This is a Black owned brand, and we're going to start by using this beautiful shade right here in the middle called Belle. So we're going to take this dusty pink color, and I'm going to use this with a small smudger brush to map out the shape. So I'm going more for like a winged out effect, so that's what I'm doing. And then I'm going to softly blend out those edges, and then to further blend, I'm going to be taking Athena and Elizabeth and using that to soften the edges. And then once I have that nice and blended, we're going to go ahead and start hitting that purple. So I did mix these 3 shades called Calliope, Iris, and Hera, and I'm using that on the brow bone and the inner corner. Then once I have that nicely packed, we're going to go ahead and take the P.LOUISE colored base in, what is it called? Funfetti frosting, and we're using that to cut the crease and set it. Then for shimmer, we're taking Anastasia and Gabriella, and we're setting the whole lid with this color. And as you can see, the shimmers are shimmering. Then we're going to go and work on this wing effect. So I went in with Belle and then back with those crease colors. Then I wanted to just deepen up the wing, so I took this dark purple called Sophia, and we are just using that to connect the eye and get some depth to this eye look. Then I just hit the top of the brow and the inner corner with Aurora. These are the lashes we're going to be using, and we're going to go ahead and do the other eye off camera. And we are back, and this is what the eyes are looking like. They are looking snatched, and I am in love. So now we're going to color correct. This is the e.l.f. Soft Glam Color Corrector. This is in the shade Deep Pink, and this is more of like orange. I really didn't see like any pink to this, but you know, it's a color corrector, so it did what it needed to do. I will say it was super easy to blend out, and it was very thin and lightweight. So I'm just blending that out, and then we're getting into these products I got from Jordana Ticia. So I got their blush, bronzer, and powder. So we're going to start with their cream bronzer, and I'm taking the Made by Mitchell brush. And y'all see that pigment? I barely tapped into this cream bronzer, and already the pigment is doing what it needs to do, okay? I did pick up the shade Eternal Sunshine, and as you can see, it is very pigmented. It is a beautiful bronzer. It's honestly perfect. I had no problem blending it out. You just got to be very careful because it is super pigmented, but as you can see, it is super easy to blend out, so I don't really have any complaints. Now for the nose, I really tried to be careful on the nose since it was pretty pigmented on the cheeks, and I feel like I did a pretty good job. So I'm just doing my nose contour and contouring my lips. Now we're getting into these e.l.f. Soft Glam Concealers. I'm taking the shade Tan 41, and this is a beautiful neutral shade, and I really love this shade. It's super thin and lightweight, and we're doing all of this before applying foundation. This is my way of underpainting, so we're just going to go ahead and apply those concealers at these places I like to go, and then we're going to start blending out the under eyes. And y'all, this concealer does dry down a little fast because it is such a thin formula, but you still have some playtime, so everything blended really nicely. And as you can see, it's very seamless. It is pretty much like a natural concealer, so I will say it is medium buildable. I didn't build it up, I just kept it with this one layer of tan neutral, and as you can see, it's blending really nicely in those areas. Then we're going to go ahead and add foundation. I am trying out the R.E.M Beauty Foundation. Now, I did order this online. This is in the shade Tan 10 Neutral. Unfortunately, they don't offer this shade in store, but this is what it looks like. It is very on the golden yellow side, and I was low-key nervous that it wasn't going to match, but it matched really good. I feel like I might add a little bit of my LA Girl blue pigment to it. So now I'm taking the new Morphe Life Proof Setting Mist to kind of spray the face and make sure that we lock in this beat because I do have oily skin, and y'all, the way that this foundation just melted into my skin, I will say it is a little bit on the thicker side, so it's going to provide a lot of coverage, so you don't need a lot of this foundation. And as you can see, everything is blending nicely. And then y'all know I love me a good bronzer movement, so I'm just going a teeny tiny bit right on the high points of my cheek with that bronzer on the brush. Then we're going into this Jordana Ticia blush palette, and look how cute it is. So the top is magnetic and it has a cream and blush duo. So I'm taking this blush, and unlike the bronzer, this is super soft and buildable. This is in the shade Sugar Coated, so it's more for the natural girlies. So I wanted to make sure the face was nice and blended, so I'm just going over everything with a sponge, because like I said, this foundation is a little bit on the thicker side, so I don't want any cakiness. So then I picked up Medium Warm from the Soft Glam concealer, and y'all, why is Medium Warm darker than Tan Neutral? And I'm mad because I was wanting a brighter under eye, and I low-key darkened up my under eye using this concealer. So now I'm just blending out everything on my nose, making sure it's nice and blended, and we are going to set the under eyes using the Jordana Ticia powder. And what I love about this is that the top is a pressed, and then you do get a loose setting powder. So I'm also taking this Morphe powder puff, and I'm taking that loose powder because y'all, I am a loose powder before pressed. And as you can see, this powder is so blurring. I am using the shade Marshmallow, and it is like a beautiful, like super soft peachy shade, and the face is looking snatch. So I pretty much use that powder all over my face. Then I'm lightly tapping, as you guys can see, lightly tapping into that powder bronzer, and y'all, look at the pigment. Okay, I thought I was going pretty light-handed, but look, once I tap the cheek, okay, look at that pigment. I'm telling you, these UK brands do not play when it comes to the pigment and the shade range with their bronzers. And Jordana Ticia is also Black owned, and I can see why. Okay, so now I'm lightly doing my nose contour with that bronzer, and as you can see, it is sculpting up the nose really nicely. There was no skipping or anything. Everything just blended nicely. So now I'm going into that Jordana Ticia blush, and this is the powder. Now, normally I don't use a angled blush like this for my blush, but it looked really good. It came out really softly. I did have to go in a couple layers to really build it up, so just take that with a grain of salt. So now I'm just going to go ahead and start baking. This is essential to my base routine, especially having oily skin, and this just helps define the features that I want to have defined. Okay, so now we're on to the lip combo, and I'm taking the new Anastasia contour lip liner. This is in the shade Phantom Line, and y'all, this is a really rich deep brown, and I'm just using that lightly to line the lips. And then once that's nice and blended, I'm taking the Anastasia Lip Velvet in Kiss, and this is a beautiful peachy color. Then we're gonna dust off that powder just to see what the face is giving, and it is giving just snatched. It's giving blurred, it's giving smooth, and I am obsessed. Okay, then once the face is nice and blended, we're gonna go ahead and get into brightening up this under eye. So going into that Jordana Ticia pressed powder, I'm taking a brush and lightly hitting the inner corner, and it does brighten up a little bit. I was very scared about how brightening it was going to be, but it was very soft. Next time I can definitely use a powder puff. So now we're going to go ahead and line the waterline using that P.LOUISE paint in Lullaby Lilac, and then I just set it with a purple eyeshadow, and this paint just really glides on in the waterline, and this was like the perfect added pop to tie into the eye look. So now we are on to the Fenty Valentine's Day drop. I picked up their two highlighters in What a Bee and What a Brat. So I'm just mixing them and popping them on the cheeks. Now this is a very glittery formula, so if you're not into glitter, you're not gonna like it. Then I just took What a Brat on my nose and added her on the center of the eyelid just to be a little extra. And then we're gonna take this What a Brat lip gloss. Y'all, look at how gorgeous she is, and we're gonna add her on to the lips, and I am obsessed with this lip combo. It came out so beautiful. Then to lock in the face, I'm going back with the Morphe Life Proof Setting Mist, and I am drowning myself into this setting spray, and then we're letting it dry down with a fan, and then I'm just going to press everything in with a powder puff with no added product just to secure the face, and this really does help with the face looking nice and blurred. Then we're going to go ahead and go off camera. I'm going to get dressed and do something to the hair. And this is the final look, y'all. It's so flirty, so girly. It's giving lover girl. And I really love how this look came out. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know how I did on this recreation, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.